Hey, how's it going, guys? I want to do a out-of-box review for you guys today. This is the HG Reconguista in G Space Jahannam, and I want to preface this review by saying a couple things. Number one, this kit, I didn't have an unboxing for this kit because this actually wasn't mine. I didn't buy it. A friend of mine bought this and was so disappointed with it, and I said, well, you know, it looks terrible in my opinion as well, but I'll take it off your hands and I'll see what I can do with it. Just use it as something to just practice some modding on. So I thought I'll just try to do a few things to it and just basically use it as just a practice kit. So my friend very kindly just gave it to me, so big thank you to him. Thanks, Alex. And the second thing I wanted to say is that this is the first kit that I've owned from Reconguista and G. That's because every kit that's come out from the series so far, including this one, has just looked extremely disappointing. Like nothing that I would be interested in building. Not just because of the designs are okay, it's just because the models look really, really disappointing, so I just haven't been interested in getting anything from the series yet. But this one is interesting, so I just want to give you guys a look at it before I do anything to it. Here's a look at the box, of course. I think we've probably all seen this by now. On the bottom, we've just got some normal stuff, just some looks at the front and back of the kit, some of the gimmicks about the axe there. That's pretty interesting. And then on the bottom, information about the suit, about the story. And here, 1,400 yen for the price. It's not bad. The kit is definitely with some issues. As you can see, this is a 2014 release. So as I said, this is already built, so we're just gonna take a look at this. Here's just a look at the guide. Like I said, the art's pretty cool. I do like the design of this well enough. And then inside is just kind of some normal stuff there. Cool pictures. It looks okay in photos. It's just until you actually take a look at the kit that you realize it. So here it is. As you can see, my friend did do a little bit of panel lining already on it. And before we talk about the negatives and the disappointing things about this kit, let's talk a little bit about the positives. I think the overall look of the kit is very nice. The proportions are pretty good. I have not seen any of the anime yet. I'm waiting a while before I start watching that. I'm just not really in a hurry to start watching it. I really enjoy all of Tomino's work. I think I'm going to enjoy this series well enough. I'm just not in any big hurry to watch it. It's not going anywhere. The other thing I like about it is that it does have a lot of nice detail on there. If we take a look at it up close, you can see the sculpt of the head is really nice. It's got some nice detail up in the neck. There's some piping there. Just all around it's got these small little verniers on the shoulders, on the back of the backpack, on the back of the skirt there. I see one of the thruster bells fell out. It's in the box. Sorry about that. And overall it's pretty nice shapes everywhere. Another good point about the articulation, as I noticed immediately, the stomach is very articulated there, but it is a little bit loose, so I don't know how well it's going to stay in a pose if you try to set it like that or like that. It's okay, but if you've got it, you want to pose it like flying like this with its back bent up like that, I don't think it's going to stay, so might be able to tighten that up though pretty easily. Another good point, the thighs do have a swivel there. That's pretty expected for modern HG kits, but it works really well on this kit. Another interesting thing I noticed is that this darker color plastic that we see, not for the chest but for the middle section, the upper arms, the hands, the thighs, and the feet, the texture of the plastic is really quite different. It's like nothing I've ever really seen on a model kit before. It's really soft feeling, almost kind of similar to like some of like a third-party kits, but I don't think it's soft in the way that it's poor quality. I think it's just they tried to give it a little bit different texture. I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure if any other model kits from this series have had that. I would imagine maybe it's something they're doing with all of the Reconguista kits, but like I said, this is the first one that I've actually held in my hands, so I don't know if that's unique to this one, or if they've been doing that with all the Rico kits. Speaking more on the articulation, the head is pretty normal, not much of a chicken neck there, but it does have pretty good rotation. It can go all the way around there, not really a big deal. Look up and down about that much. Not bad. Shoulders are going to be relatively minimal, not a whole lot. It's decent. Arms up, not very far at all. The elbow is just barely 90 degrees. The knee is going to be the same, barely 90 degrees there. Up, only about that far. The ankle is pretty good because we've got a pretty complicated joint there. The foot is just on a ball joint at the bottom, and then like kind of a double point of articulation there, up inside the foot and at the ankle. Another interesting point is that the back skirt is actually able to go up. That's something we don't see on a lot of HG kits, so that's pretty cool. It's not really much to look at underneath, but it's just kind of interesting, the fact that it is able to do that. The side skirts are normal, the front skirts are normal as well, they're combined. Let's pull this off and see if we can't separate those actually. And it looks like we can. Those do have just the normal ball joint inside there. So let's grab the nippers and just separate those. There we go. Now without any polycap inside there, it is kind of hard to keep these in while you're putting the front piece back on the kit. They will stay in once it's back on, but it's just kind of difficult to get them to stay in there just for a moment while you're putting this back on. So hang on a minute. Alright, finally I was able to get those back in, and now we've got some individually articulated front skirts. Now let's talk about the accessories, what this kit comes with. Well, we've got two open hands. On the kit now are the holding hands. We've also got two open hands. We've got the shield that attaches onto the arm via this peg. That there's no polycap inside there, it's just a piece of plastic that rotates around. And then on here is the closed axe that just pegs onto there like that. You can see in the back it's just hollow there and just pegs on the inside like so. Then we've got the open axe with this pretty cool green effect part. I kind of like that. I kind of wish it was a little bit jagged, but it's not bad. And finally the beam rifle. It's a pretty cool design. I like the overall look and shape of it. It's kind of bulky, a little bit kind of militaristic looking, so it definitely fits the overall look of the suit. And after seeing all that, you might be thinking, hey, that's not a bad kit, especially 1400 yen, that's not bad. It looks like a nice kit, some pretty good accessories, got some hand options. What's to dislike? Well, let's take a look. For one, let's look at the hands. I'll show you the open hand here first. If you notice at the base of the hand, there's this larger ball which looks like it should be a point of articulation where it should hinge at the wrist. That's not. It looks like it should be, but it's not. There's no extra point of articulation there. It's just a normal ball joint like any other normal hand. Here you can see the one on the kit. It looks like that should be able to bend forward and back, but it doesn't at all. So the hand's just a normal hand. That's disappointing. The other point is here in the shoulder. The ball joint is attached to the shoulder armor like that. That just looks really lazy, really old. Like if this model kit came out 15 years ago, I'd say, okay, well, yeah, that's pretty normal, but these days, that just looks bad. There should have been an extra piece there to allow the shoulder armor to rotate up, like that, like we see with a lot of other HGs. The polycap inside here is the normal swinging polycap, so it is able to swing out a bit like that before it totally pops out, but this piece just looks really lazy and ugly. And as I mentioned, the shield does plug into the arm pretty nicely. But the problem is the shoulder armor piece has that part that sticks out, and that really gets in the way. They really should have made that piece of the shoulder armor on some kind of hinge so that it can fold down out of the way, because as it is now, it's once you got the shield on the arm, it's just totally in the way. You have to rotate the shield all goofy to try to get it to any position that kind of makes sense, and it's just really awkward. can put it like underneath there like that, and it's just weird, difficult, and it's just not good. So the other thing is this folding axe. I like that they gave us a folded one and an open one, but it should have just been one with the ability to fold up. I mean, this, I don't know, it's okay. It feels like it's kind of a silly thing to complain about, but how hard would it have been just to make this a couple more parts, just add a couple of joints there that you can fold this up like a normal weapon, but sadly we're not getting that. Another disappointing thing about the axe is that this lower area is the only place that it can hold it. It looks like in this part, this area be too wide, but these kind of more narrow area, it looks like it should be able to hold it there, but it can't, only on this lower area. And the problem is that it's a little bit too narrow, so it fits very loosely in the hand. It can slide up and down everywhere, all over the place. And it pretty much, there's another problem too. In pretty much any pose, it can hold it okay, but if you wanted to have it something like that, just be prepared for it to fall very loosely. So that's disappointing. It's just way too wobbly in there. And probably the most disappointing thing about this kit, it's something that shouldn't really be an issue, especially in this day and age, but is the handle of the gun. Let's take a look at where that handle fits on as the arm is coming off once again. You snap the hand onto the handle, and there you go. Good fit. The gun's not going anywhere. But if you look closely, there's no finger on the trigger finger. The hand is only holding it on this lower part of the handle, so it leaves a big gap there in the trigger finger, like he is not going to be shooting anything or anyone anytime soon. It just looks really goofy. It looks super lazy, kind of like the arm here in the design. Why didn't they give us a trigger finger? I really don't understand that. It just looks totally goofy. Like I said before, it looks like it's something that we would have had 15 and 20 years ago maybe, but in this day and age, I really can't understand that. And one more thing about the hands, and this is totally a personal thing, and probably a lot of this is just my own personal opinion, but I just don't like the hands of this kit. They look really large and ugly, and that's kind of what I've disliked about the look of a lot of the Reconguista kits, is that the hands, especially on like the GR Cane and the Montero, the hands just look way too big and bulky and silly. I understand that they're big by design, but they really shouldn't be that big that they look like there's something out of the 1980s. Here's a look at the Jahannam compared to a normal 18-meter RX-78 Gundam. As you can see, they're basically about the same size, so the Jahannam is pretty small, or short, I guess. Anyway, it's not a big size mobile suit, so just keep that in mind. Although it is very bulky, it's not actually all that big. So does all of this mean that it's a bad mobile suit or a bad model kit? It's not terrible. As you can see, it is able to pull off some pretty cool poses. I think that's just helped a lot due to the design of the mobile suit itself, not the model kit. I think the kit is where it has a lot of flaws. The design is pretty interesting. I think a lot of that also just comes from the head, and the face is something that's pretty unusual in the Gundam universe. It sort of looks like something more out of like some science fiction video game, like a Halo or something like that. So I think that's what's going to make this kit interesting for a lot of people. Is it worth buying? Well, I guess that's totally up to you, and from what you've seen in the video, you can just make your own decision about that as to if this is something that you want to actually spend your money on. Personally, I'm glad that I got this kit for free, so thank you again, once again, to my friend Alex who gave this to me. It's going to be an interesting kit to work on. It's not something I'm going to be working on anytime soon, but I'll just put it aside for just something to practice on later. What am I thinking of doing to the kit? I'm not sure. I've got some ideas, basically, of how I want to work on it, but I'm not really focused too much on that at the moment. I'm trying to focus on some other things. So that is going to be it for my review of the high-grade Space Jahannam. For my first kit that I'm actually seeing up close from the Reconguista series, I gotta say, very disappointed. But, like I said before, it's not totally hopeless. Just with a little bit of work, you could turn it into something very interesting. It's got some cool features, it's got a lot of bad points, but ultimately there's never really any kit that's totally without hope. So thank you guys for watching. Hope this was helpful for some of you who are thinking about getting this kit, or some of you who wanted some sure evidence about the bad points of the kit. It's definitely got them. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next video.